Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on this 8th day of the 8th month of the year 2025. You're just in time for the day's news. On today's conundrum, we take a look at President Ruto's proclamation that protest victims be compensated. Is it justice or political optics? Stay tuned for that towards the end of the news bulletin. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. First, the day's events. President William Ruto has established a framework that will be used to compensate victims of violent protests and demonstrations dating back to 2017. Speaking during the funeral of former Karachuonyo Member of Parliament Phoebe Asio in Homa Bay County on Friday, the president said the mechanism is aimed at healing the nation and establishing a framework for accountability, redress, and reparations for victims of demonstrations and protests, including the vulnerable and those who experienced bodily harm and security personnel.
Let me also say that as part of the implementation of the 10-point agenda, today I set up the infrastructure and the mechanism to pay and compensate all those who lost their lives, those who were injured, those who were hospitalized, as part of healing our nation so that we can bring our nation together and forge and focus our ideas, our energy, and our focus in taking the country into the future. Let me also say that as part of this momentum, Baba and I have agreed that we will also make sure that the agreements we have signed under the 10-point agenda and all the other commitments that we have made on devolution, on implementing NADCO, on implementing all the other programs, will be undertaken by making sure that our parliamentary groups are aligned so that they can assist us process the necessary documentation, pass the necessary legislation, and provide the necessary funds for us to be able to implement the commitments we have made.
Meanwhile, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has emphasized that issues of human rights must be respected. Speaking during the funeral of former Karachuonyo Member of Parliament Phoebe Asio, Raila said that those who were injured and families of those who died will be compensated in line with the ODM and Kenya Kwanza MOU. The compensation framework the proclamation explained will be chaired by Professor Makau Mutua, who is also the President's senior advisor on constitutional affairs and human rights as the principal coordinator. The coordination of this framework will be under the Executive Office of the President in collaboration with the Office of the Attorney General, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, and the National Treasury.
The police are servants of the people, not masters. The police need to be civil to the population. If you have committed an offense, arrest me. Take me to prison, take me to court, and let the court find me guilty and imprison me. But do not use your own weapon to assassinate me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to maim. Arrest and charge in a court of law. Those who have been maimed, those who have been injured, those who have been in hospital, and those who have died, the families of those who have died will be compensated. And we said we go back to just not 2024, 2023, 22, we go back to 2017. From 2017 up to today, all those people who have been maimed, who have been killed, and so on, the families are going to be compensated. And we have got to put in place a framework for that to happen.
The Ministry of Health has suspended 40 health facilities over the country over allegations of fraud and theft involving the Social Health Insurance Fund. During the suspension period, the ministry has directed that the affected facilities will not be entitled to any benefits from the Social Health Authority (SHA). Speaking at Afya House in Nairobi earlier today, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale highlighted concerns over upcoding, which is a deceptive tactic where healthcare facilities submit inflated claims that exceed the actual costs of services provided. Caleb Muoti has more.
The Ministry of Health has raised concerns over suspicious claims submitted by various health facilities across the country, citing issues such as false record submissions and the presence of ghost workers in the health sector. For the past 3 months, the ministry has carried out intensive fraud detection in the health sector, and according to Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale, the ministry is committed to tackling such misconduct firmly.
I wish to reiterate that our comprehensive digital system is equipped to enable the detection and elimination of fraud that has bedeviled the health insurances in this country. The system has flagged suspicious claims over the last 2 months. The Social Health Authority has commenced a rigorous review process of the fraudulent activities.
CS Aden Duale has termed the Fraud Act as undermining public trust in the country's health system and also threatens visibility and sustainability of the Social Health Authority. The ministry highlighted concerns over upcoding, a deceptive practice where healthcare facilities submit inflated claims that exceed the actual cost of the services provided.
Some of these activities were flagged, or the system, the forensic auditors have flagged, include: number 1, upcoding, deliberately submitting a claim for more expensive procedure than the one which was actually performed. This contravenes clause 16, subclause 1.1 of the SHA contract and section 45, subsection 8 of the Social Health Insurance Act 2023. For example, a facility in Nairobi lodged a claim for a more expensive TURBT procedure which was worth 201,600 shillings, 201,600, after having only performed an open prostatectomy worth 89,600.
Following the criminal acts involving corruption and theft of public funds, the ministry has immediately suspended 40 health facilities across the country. Additionally, 12 healthcare practitioners have also been suspended in the connection with the offences.
Has suspended a total of 40 health facilities found to have engaged in these criminal activities. They have engaged in corruption and they have engaged in the theft of public resources. These suspensions are effective immediately, and we will share with you the Gazette notice signed by the CEO of the Social Health Authority, and of course in the interest of transparency and public accountability, a full list of these suspended health facilities have been duly published in the Kenya Gazette number 168, dated 7th of August 2025. During the
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Caleb Mwati.
Much appreciated, Caleb Mwati, for that report. Now back to politics. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has defended his decision to enter into a broad-based government arrangement with President William Ruto, saying it was the best course of action to safeguard Kenya's stability. He faulted those criticizing the broad-based government, pointing out that the move has united the country. He noted that Kenya was on the brink of descending into chaos and could not be allowed.
We were in a very serious situation sometime last year. Everybody knows where we were. There was a possibility of Kenya degenerating into a failed state. People who do not understand history talk very easily. But ask them, tell them, what happened in Libya? What happened in Egypt after the Arab Spring? What happened? Where was the terrorist square crowd not able to move in and take the government and form a government? Where do you have a military regime in Egypt today after the Arab Spring? Even Tunisia. People do not really understand. That's why they make it very simple. And it's very easy for them to write articles in newspapers. I read them and I just laugh. They tried to trivialize what was a very serious situation. So what we have today is basically something that we were forced into because of the circumstances that were existing at that time. I want to invite somebody to tell me their own solution, how this would have been solved. We sacrificed so that there could be peace in this country. And that's the reason why we are here today. I do not regret what we did. We did it in the best interest of our country. And Kenya must move forward.
After days of speculation about his whereabouts, Siaya Governor James Orengo resurfaced today at the funeral of former Karachuonyo Member of Parliament and women rights icon Phoebe Asio in Homa Bay County. Orengo paid tribute to Asio, praising her for her tireless efforts in championing gender equality and empowering women across the country.
Here, I can say honestly, if we trace back to the movement for human rights and talking about women's rights being human rights, Phoebe Asio was ahead of her time. She started that struggle before independence and continued with it. I can say that I'm one of the few people who are privileged to have served with Phoebe Asio in Parliament. At the time when Phoebe was first elected in Parliament, it was a very difficult time for women leaders to be in Parliament. I know now Homa Bay has taken the lead. We have more women elected in Homa Bay County more than anywhere else. And this is a great testimony to Phoebe Asio. I knew at the time when Phoebe used to take up very serious issues in Parliament. The Parliament at that time, those who were there with me at that time, there were so many male charlatans, many male chauvinists, and many male misogynists, and would not entertain women being leaders in Parliament. And for that matter, I honor her and I thank the state for giving her such a wonderful send-off.
On that note, let's take a short break on Newswatch tonight. We will be back with more news, including opposition campaigns across the country. Stay with us.
we have what we call systematic corruption.
Yes.
And that's another form of corruption. That corruption is inbuilt in the system.
Yes.
It's inbuilt in the structure. Whereby, I've heard of budgeted corruption.
Yes.
That people budget, institutions budget for corruption.
Yeah.
You have to gain at the expense of someone else. Exploitation.
Dubious means.
Dubious means. So that's social injustice. But when you observe financial integrity, there is social justice.
Yeah.
There's a huge benefit that people live at peace with one another. People respect you.
There's a world out there searching for hope, and you can help bring it home. By becoming a friend of Hope, you're helping us share the love of Jesus through Hope FM and Hope TV. With a donation of any amount, join hands with us to bring hope and point souls to the transforming power of Jesus Christ. Become a friend of Hope today by making your donation through the M-Pesa paybill number 933933, account FOH. For more information on how to become a friend of Hope, call 0116-212-723 or email customerexperience@hopefm.org or visit www.hopemediakenya.org. Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Welcome back. Opposition leaders now say they have the numbers to defeat President William Ruto in the 2027 general election. Speaking during a rally in Kathiani constituency, the leaders rallied behind Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka as their preferred presidential candidate, saying he represents a fresh start for the country. They also demanded greater accountability in the management of public funds, raising concerns over revenue collected through the e-Citizen platform. The leaders accused the government of lacking transparency and called for an independent audit of the digital payment system. The rally is part of a growing push by the opposition to build momentum ahead of the 2027 polls.
Niaba ya watu ya Mount Kenya ambapo mimi nimetoka, sisi tulikufanya ukuwe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Kama tuko na nguvu ya kukufanya uwe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, tuko na nguvu ya kufanya uwe raia wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Haya ziende.
Mko tayari Kalonzo kuwa rais? Mumejitayarisha? Washikane na viongozi wengine watupatie candidates. Mko tayari? Wangapi wanaunga Kalonzo Musyoka? Watu wa Ukambani msidanganywe, chama yenu inaitwaje?
Nataka kutangaza, we cannot allow one family to take control of the country. Kenya iko na watu wengi, familia moja iwezi kuwa inashiba na sisi wote tunaumia. Na kutoka sasa kwenda na mbele, tukilipa hii Citizen kila mwaka tunataka kuambiwa ni pesa ngapi iliingia hapo, ni ngapi wamepata, ni ngapi inaingia kwa mfuko ya serikali. Ndio kwa maana wanatajirika na sisi tunaendelea kuumia.
The families of 8 people who died following a tragic collision between a train and a bus near Morindat Farm in Naivasha have begun identifying the remains of their loved ones. The victims, believed to be employees of the Kenya Pipeline Company, were on their way home when the accident occurred, just meters from the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. Survivors are currently receiving treatment in Naivasha, and the Principal Secretary for Petroleum and Energy is expected to visit them soon. Investigations into the cause of the crash are underway. Meanwhile, drivers have been urged to take more caution on the road.
Wameumia ni wengi sana. Haswa hiyo basi ilikuwa imebeba watu wengi sana ambao ni wafanyakazi wa pipeline hapa Naivasha, hii kampuni ya mafuta. So wale ambao wamebebwa na ambulance ni wengi sana.
Ajali imehappen, ni train na kampuni moja ya KPC ambayo ni pipeline, ni wafanyakazi walikuwa natoka kazi na hii train kama wanavyoiona. So chenye tu ningependa kuambia watu, madereva wetu wa Kasarani, mnapofika upande huu ambapo ni kivukio, mkuwe waangalifu sana kwa sababu hii sehemu itatumaliza. So ningewaomba tu wakaaji wa mji wa Naivasha tukuwe waangalifu tunapofika mahali hapa.
TikTok content creator Joseph Gitonga has been charged with attempting to extort 500,000 shillings from a media firm contracted by Cooperative Bank. Gitonga appeared before Senior Principal Magistrate Sharon Ouko at the Milimani Law Courts, where he denied the charge of demanding property by menace. A second suspect, said to have been involved, did not appear in court. The alleged offense occurred between July 20th and 25th in Nairobi, targeting media service provider Amos Hunja Mwangi. Gitonga's lawyers pleaded for lenient bail, citing financial hardship and claiming he is not a flight risk. However, the prosecution raised concerns over his continued social media activity, referencing the case, which could interfere with the legal process.
No specifics, no evidence has been shown before this court. What I hear is the fear that Mr. Gitonga might speak about the Cooperative Bank of Kenya and its CEO.
So the reason why unaona hii shati iko hivi, it's because yesterday I was walking around Haile Selassie Avenue, just walking hata kwa traffic huko, when a group of more than 20 policemen accompanied by the OCPD Central Police Station, they came, they started to beat me up, wakanarudia hii shati, they dragged me from Haile Selassie hivi mpaka Tomboya, mpaka kwa bomb blast, and they took my phone. That is the second phone that had been taken. Later, I went to I&M and quickly repressed the phone. Do you know what I found? In the phone, TikTok yangu wamesha tamper nayo, and this is what they had. This is what they have written in the phone. Wameniita ati badala ya jina yangu sasa ni ng'ombe. You see just how mischievous these people can get. Na wamevuta all the data hizo za ule mama mwenye nilichukua, ule mama mwenye amenyang'anywa 1.6 billion, na huyu mzee wa CEO, the CEO Cooperative Bank.
Yona, in as much as we are not opposed to a cash bail or bond being granted to their
women leaders, youth representatives and advocates from the Gusii region gathered in Kisii County to discuss strategies for promoting gender-inclusive leadership, focusing on empowering one another while respecting cultural traditions. Speaking at the forum, Kisii County nominated MCA Lillian Gore highlighted the county's gender mainstreaming policy passed last October, which promotes gender-responsive budgeting and inclusive decision-making.
For the society to be better, for us to thrive, each and everyone must play their part. That we all will come together to make the ripple effect that then would lead into a better society. So we just sat here to remind ourselves of the value that is inside us, that we haven't tapped and that we must tap.
Men have opened so many doors, but I implore the men to allow the women to walk through the door. Allow the women to step in front of them and allow them to make paths that other women can follow. I think men are very important in the support that they give us, because if they give us support, that support can go to the next generation and next generations of leaders. And it's not diminishing men by allowing the woman in their life to step into the room before them. It's already enhancing what we need to do, but we need our men to support us and walk beside us.
Lack of sufficient mentorship, but again, it is because the people who have gone before us are equally trying to figure it out. Our mentors are women who are equally trying to figure out in their own spaces. So mentorship has been the main challenge, but again, over time, we've seen active steps to ensuring that we are in a position of having a pool of women who support each other.
Kenya has officially unveiled the National Organizing Committee for the 25th East African Community EAC MSME Trade Fair, set to take place in Nairobi. This marks the 7th time Kenya is hosting the regional event, coinciding with President William Ruto's tenure as EAC Summit Chair. Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and MSME Development, Dr. Wycliffe Oparanya, announced that the 2025 fair will focus on four key pillars.
Those innovations that we've been seeing around, for me, I've seen them. This will be the 4th time that I'll be interacting with this market. I've seen great innovation. But like we've said, it must be innovation that can be taken to the market, commercialization of those innovations. So that's the space within which we want to re-engineer this event.
As a ministry, we are going to carry out a survey. This year, the last survey was done in 2016. We need to carry out a survey to know where this SMEs concentration, where they are, and where we know where they are, then that's a sport that I've mentioned through these thematic areas will be possible. So I expect all of you to be players in this particular exercise so that we have access, we have current figures when we go out there, when we are mentioning how far the impact, because the last survey was done in 2016. We have also come up with MSME Connect, an initiative by the government to make sure that we put together key stakeholders in the industry so that we are also able to share some of the challenges, some of the successes, some of the networking, so that each key player knows what is where, so that we are able to avoid even duplication.
The government has commended the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, KMRC, for its role in bringing about reforms in accelerating the country's affordable housing development program. Speaking during the 4th Kenya Affordable Housing Conference, KAHC, held at the Grand Royal Swiss Hotel in Kisumu, the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, Alice Wahome, praised KMRC as a key enabler in the implementation of the government's business transformation agenda.
The purpose of KMRC or objective basically is to provide the funding largely for affordable housing, enable Kenyans to access funding for the new program that we have on affordable housing, because we've agreed as a country, we've stayed too long without minding how Kenyans with little money or without any form of employment, but they are in some form of enterprise, income generating enterprise, but not looking like people who have a pay slip, because you know pay slip is different. So together, all these people who are in informal sector, largely informal sector, and those who are working, they have a pay slip, but they also need, if you look at the pay slip, it is unlikely to support mortgage in the ordinary mortgage arrangement from banks. You see, to get a house, you need to secure maybe 3 to, for now, as far as we are concerned, 3 to 7 million within our arrangement of affordable housing.
Absa Bank Kenya PLC has today released its 2024 Sustainability and Climate Report outlining significant progress in environmental action, inclusive finance and governance maturity. As part of this journey, the bank has unveiled Kenya's first Eco Home Loan, offering up to 110 financing to help customers build or upgrade homes with energy efficient and climate resilient features.
47 billion that can be defined as sustainable portfolio. This is covering all the areas and the headlines that we've spoken about. But just a bit more detail there. We've shared some of the numbers, including areas such as climate finance, which is an important area. We also have the digital lending, which goes into micro and MSME businesses, individuals who are doing their individual hustles, 25 billion digitally disbursed and performing very well as a portfolio with good repayments.
And so in 2024, the board came up with a strategy on climate financing. And that strategy captures the essence of the ambition that we as a business have in that area. And the guidance to management is quite clear. We would want at the end of 2025 to have 10% of our lending portfolio going into climate-related financing to truly green projects.
Now, what is happening in the report that you will see today is twofold. One, we have brought our climate and sustainability disclosure together under one report. The bit on climate disclosure, our regulator, Central Bank, there's a specific report that we normally send to our regulator. But then in terms of a change that you're going to see in this report, we are bringing that together.
Need a breakthrough? Start with prayer. Watch and Pray with Mama Ada Adoyo isn't just another show. It's a lifeline where we pray boldly, believe truly, and carry one another in faith. Join us every Monday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. only on Hope TV.
You know, we have what we call systematic corruption.
Yes.
And that's another form of corruption. That corruption is inbuilt in the system.
Yes.
It's inbuilt in the structure. Whereby, I've heard of budgeted corruption.
Yes.
That people budget, institutions budget for corruption.
Yeah.
You have to gain at the expense of someone else. Exploitation.
Dubious means.
Dubious means. So that's social injustice. But when you observe financial integrity, there is social justice.
Yeah.
There's a huge benefit that people live at peace with one another. People respect you.
Welcome back. In a symbolic transition of leadership, Dr. Paul Tergat has officially handed over the presidency of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, to Shadrack Maluki, ushering in a new era for Kenyan sports administration. The handover ceremony marked the end of Tergat's impactful tenure and the beginning of Maluki's leadership journey. Tergat, a revered figure in athletics and sports governance, expressed heartfelt gratitude to those who supported his vision throughout his term. As Maluki assumes office, the expectations are high for continued progress, integrity, and innovation in Kenyan sports. Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy has described the clash against Angola as the toughest match he has ever been involved in. The Stars were reduced to 10 men after Marvin Nabuire was shown a straight red card early in the first half, but still managed to deliver a resilient performance, securing a 1-1 draw against a determined Angola side. Angola began the match with high intensity, opening the scoring after a series of quick passes. However, they later surrendered the lead when Kenya equalized from the penalty spot, a goal converted by midfielder Austin Odhiambo. Kenya will now shift focus to the upcoming clash against Morocco, scheduled for Sunday at the Kasarani Stadium.
This team can play. These players, they have quality, they have ability. You see, against 10 men, we still look like we get a chance, we score, we still look dangerous. We didn't make it easy for Angola as much as they had such a big advantage with one player, moving the ball the way they did. But we made it so difficult for them to get anywhere near our goals. So these players can play. They are really good, but my God, they need to get over this fear factor for 45 minutes. It's stressful, man.
On today's Conundrum, we take a look at the government's about turn. President William Ruto's move to establish a compensation framework for victims of protests dating back to 2017 sounds like a noble task, especially in soothing the pain of those left injured or have lost their loved ones in recent protests. However, while framed as a step towards healing and national unity, the sudden change of tone from calling protesters terrorists to now recognizing their pain raises legitimate questions. Just a few weeks ago, the president was quoted ordering that protesters be shot in the leg, while some of his allies took it further, saying that police should shoot to kill. So many Kenyans should be excused if they remain skeptical of the sudden change of heart, or should I say, change of speech. The framework, chaired by Professor Makau Mutua and involving key government offices, will run for 120 days. But for many, especially those who lost loved ones or languished in jail without trial, the announcement feels too little, too late. There are innocent Kenyans that have spent days, if not weeks, in prison cells. Innocent because they cannot raise the hefty bail to be released as they face terrorism charges. Can financial compensation truly offer justice for lives lost and freedoms denied? Is this redress or a calculated political gesture ahead of 2027? And what about the many who still carry the scars, both physical and emotional, of violent crackdowns? Will the compensation raise those who were shot dead in a show of power by the police rise to life? While the gesture may be welcomed by some, the lingering question remains: is this real accountability or simply an attempt to rewrite a painful chapter without truly reckoning with it? In the days to come, we look to see the actual compensation of the victims, as it is the least the government can do to ease the pain of the bereaved and injured. For now, the proclamation remains just that: words of hope that we hope will be followed by tangible actions. History does not paint a confident picture of the fulfillment of promises made. It has been said that justice delayed is justice denied, and that is today's conundrum. And today's conundrum brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. You can give us your feedback on any of the news items, including the conundrum. For now, it's good night. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night.